Greetings. In this video, we are going to look into Medha Suktam of the Krishna Yajur Veda, word to word meaning and commentary on this Suktam. So, since this is a portion from the Vedas, let us get into the brief introduction on Vedas themselves. So, the entire cosmos existence is in the form of reverberation, sound energy. So ancient sages, our great rishis, in their penance, activated certain non-mechanical parts within their brains which enable them to download all forms of knowledge and truths from the cosmos. And they downloaded this knowledge in the form of sound energy, mantras, which they heard in a particular length, particular nature, particular intonations, which they then transferred in the form of Veda recitation, which is being preserved till date. So the mantras were this pen drive through which knowledge was carried, through which cosmic knowledge was transferred to the rishis. So the entire Vedas are in the form of mantras, and in order to realize the knowledge or truths conveyed in the Vedas, one has to recite and meditate upon the verses, so as to say. Now, Medha Suktam comes as part of the Taittiriya Aranyaka of the Krishna Yajur Veda. This refers to the forest treatise, right? At one point of time, all this compiled knowledge, right? Because various rishis, different advanced beings downloaded various parts of the Vedas, and there were an ocean of the Vedas on the planet. And then Veda Vyasa sort of organized them and gave them an arrangement. So following the arrangement, Medha Suktam comes as part of the forest treatise, in which traditionally, these lessons were learned in seclusion in the forest regions, right? So it actually finds place in the 10th Prashna, 41st to 44th Anuvaka of the Taittiriya Aranyaka, Krishna Yajur Veda. So since it's from the Aranyaka, we do not actually know the rishi who downloaded this particular portion, right? We only can quote the rishi if the mantra finds place in the Samhita portion of the Vedas. If it comes under the if it comes under the Aranyaka, then unfortunately we can't trace back, right? It is somehow not documented. So anyway, most of the rishis who actually downloaded these Vedas never bothered to document or credit their name, because they merely understood their role as an instrument through which they delivered the Vedas. The Vedas are eternal. It is not altered. It cannot be composed. It's the very universe itself speaking. So, as an introduction, the verses of Medha Suktam convey the different dimensions and layers of intelligence expressed by various entities across the cosmos. All forms of intelligence, all form of knowledge, intellect is being expressed and manifested in the Medha Suktam. So, Medha literally means that power which retains my memory. We can quote Me dharayati iti medha. So that power which retains my memory. Now memory does not only refer to the mind. Everything which retains is memory. In other words, let us say you watch someone dance and you retain that ability and you re-exhibit that talent. That itself refers to the power of retention through memory, right? Memory is the process of learning, like how fast you adapt, how fast you grasp a particular knowledge, like a sponge, right? So, and also if you're reciting, ensure that you recite the Mahaprana in Medha, because if you pronounce it as Medha, as in if you do not emphasize the force in Da, you literally change the meaning, you literally change what you convey, because Medha means fat, right? While Medha means the power which retains your memory. So Medha, if you say Medha, you're referring to fat, and it could probably bring a different result if you recite it not in accordance with the correct pronunciations and intonations, of course. So let's look at the first verse of Medha Suktam. Om Medha Devi Jushamana na Agaat Vishvachi Bhatra Sumanasya Mana. So root word to word meanings. Medha, as we had already seen. Devi, it is the feminine term for Deva, which itself comes from the root sound div, which means to shine. So Devi means one who shines. It refers to the enlightened consciousness one carries. So Devi literally is a term which is conveyed upon anything, any entity, any being who carries an enlightened consciousness, who is in a state of enlightenment. That is why they shine, so as to say. Next, Jushamana, which means delighting. Naha, us. Agat, which means upon coming, upon the arrival. Vishvachi, it comes from Vish, which literally means all pervasiveness, the nature of being all pervasive. Bhadra, which refers to auspiciousness. Sumanasya Mana, please-minded, right? So these are the individual words. So the overall meaning and commentary. Now, Medha Devi is all pervasive. She is auspiciousness, and she is the one who is in a pleased state of mind, which actually denotes the state of samadhi. When the mind is equanimous, right? When the mind is not affected by anything. In fact, the mind is disidentified with the self. And when that state is realized, one is in the state of pleased-minded. A content, pleased mind, a state of pleased-mindedness. So these are the qualities which are exhibited by Medha Devi, and therefore she is verily the manifestation of absolute consciousness, because all the qualities we saw, all pervasiveness, that which is all auspiciousness, that which is in a state of samadhi, right? And so all these are the states of enlightenment or consciousness, godhood, anything you may call it. So that is Medha Devi. Here we are looking at the very power of Medha, right, as a Devi. So Medha Devi, and she, Medha Devi, is in that state, right? So her very manifestation delights us such that we attain oneness with her when she comes. So upon her arrival, she delights us in a way in which we attain oneness with her. And this oneness shall have us imbibe all her qualities mentioned. So her very arrival enlightens us. It gives us the state of godhood. It gives us self-realization. Next verse. Tvaya jushtanudamana duruktaan brihatvadema vidathe suviraha. Tvaya, which means your. Jushta, which means pleased. Nudamana, it comes from the word nud, which means foolish talk. Duhu plus uktan, which means difficult. Duhu referring to difficult. Uktan, word utterers, one who utters something. Brihat, which means great. Vadema, which means speak. Vidathe comes from with, which means again to know. It refers to knowledge, so to know something. Su-viraha. Su, which means superb, and viraha, which means heroism. So, overall meaning and commentary. So, by the grace of Medha Devi, even those who are verbally handicapped, those who speak foolishly, and those who have difficulty with speech are transformed into great speakers who are intellectually brilliant. And they become superb heroes who can manifest your Medha Shakti. Next verse. त्वया जुष्टऋषिर्भवति देवि त्वया ब्रह्मा गतश्रीरुतत्वया. Tvaya, again your, Jushta, which means pleasure, Rishihi, which means sage, a rishi, Bhavati, which means to become, Devi, as we had already seen earlier, Tvaya, which again means your, Brahma, which means absolute consciousness, Brahman, Agata, which means comes, to come, Shrihi, which is in reference to Shri, which is Lakshmi, Uta, which means also, Tvaya, again your. So overall meaning and commentary. So with the grace of Medha Devi, one becomes a Rishi, one becomes Brahman, because in our Vedic culture we have the verse which goes as Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati, meaning one who knows Brahman becomes Brahman, because our true nature is Atmic consciousness. We are Atma, consciousness, God, anything you may call it. So when one becomes a Rishi by the grace of Medha Devi, and when one becomes enlightened, when he becomes self-realized, he realizes that he is Brahman. And when he knows that he is Brahman. So that is what is conferred by the grace of Medha Devi, and one attains Lakshmi, so as to say. Next verse. Tvaya jushtaschitram vindate vasusano jushasvatra vinona medhe. Again, Tvaya, which means your, Jushtaha, which means being pleased, Chitram, which literally means picture. So it denotes the diversity of creation across the cosmos, because creation is like a painting you do on the canvas you call cosmos. Vindate, which means to get, Vasu, wealth, Sa, she, Naha, us, Joshasva, upon being pleased, Dravine, by wealth, Naha, us, and Medhe, which is in reference to Medha. So overall meaning and commentary. So by the grace of Medha Devi, we know the various dimensions of the universe. We know or realize the picture of the universe, the game of the universe, how the universe plays, how the 5 elements play the game of the universe, creating all that we see in this play. And we attain wealth. Wealth does not only refer to monetary position or possession. Wealth refers to good character, intellect, position, achievement, good conduct, and it comprises a whole range of elements, which is being carried by what we call as Shri, or the dimension of wealth. Next verse. Medham Indro dadatu medhan Devi Saraswati. Medham me Ashvina Vubhava Dhattam Pushkarasraja. So word to word meaning Medham, which means of Medha, Me, which means to me. Indraha, Lord Indra, who is the deity who is the master of the senses. Lord Indra is the master of the senses, the deity who governs the senses, who enables mastery over the senses, sensory organs. Dadatu, which means to provide. Sarasvati, Mother Sarasvati, but let's look deeper. Sarasvati itself comes from Sa Rasena Sarati Iva. So, one who flows like fluid is Sarasvati, right? So, that which flows like liquid, which is speech. So, Mother Sarasvati here denoting the power of speech. Ashvinau, which is in reference to the two Ashwin deities, who are the who are the celestial doctors. They are the physicians, right? Ubhau, which means both. Adhattam, which means to come and support. Pushkaras Rajau, which means adorned with lotus flower garlands. Now, overall meaning and commentary. Now, the manifestation of Medha Devi, may she come to me in the form of Indra, because Indra is the symbol for mastery over the senses. So, the Medha Shakti one attains when he gains mastery over the senses is that of Indra, right? May the manifestation of Medha Shakti come in the form of Sarasvati, the intelligence associated with the power of speech. So the Medha Shakti, which enables one to have speech that can flow like a river, is in association with Mother Sarasvati. Next, may the manifestation of Medha Shakti come in the form of the two Ashwins who are adorned with lotus garlands. So this refers to the dimension of intellect associated with healing powers. Now, even across the Vedic culture, we have many beings who have exhibited such dimensions of intelligence, right? So, control over the senses. When one has mastery over the senses, he is enlightened, so as to say. And power of speech, healing powers, right? Our culture has many beings who can just heal, who can just scan, diagnose diseases just with their Medha Shakti. So these are various entities, various deities across the tradition who are used to represent, who are the very manifestation of different dimensions of intelligence. So Medha Devi herself, she comes in all these forms, in the form of Indra, in the form of Sarasvati, in the form of Ashwin, and let's see what else. Next. Apsarasu chaya medha gandharveshu chayanmanaha. So, Apsarasu, in Apsara. So, Apsaras refer to the celestial dancers who are overwhelming in their charm. Cha, which means and, Ya, which means she, Gandharveshu, in Gandharvas. So the Gandharvas, the celestial musicians who have supernatural abilities. So the Apsaras and the Gandharvas are entities who denote the the paramount intelligence in the form of dance, art, music, right? That field of intelligence. Yet, as per Manaha, which means mind. So overall meaning and commentary. May I be graced with the dimension of intellect expressed by Medha Devi in the form of art or dance, patroned by the Apsaras. May I be graced with the dimension of intellect expressed by Medha Devi in the form of the field of music, patroned by the Gandharvas. Next. दैवीं मेधा सरस्वती सामा मेधा सुरभिर्जुषतागस्वाहा. Daivim, which means Devi, in reference to Devi. Medha, we already saw. Saraswati, we already saw. Sa, which means she. Mam, which means to me. Medha, which we already saw. Surabhihi, which means fragrance. It denotes all pervasiveness because fragrance is all pervasive. It spreads throughout. Juhatam, which means Juhomi, which means to offer into the fire of a yaga. Svaha, it is a sound which is used to call a deity, a call which is used in a yaga, like a call to a deity, right? So overall meaning and commentary, Medha Devi is multidimensional, right? So her dimensions spread in all layers like a fragrance. May we call upon the multi-dimensional Medha Devi to manifest in us. Next verse. Ama Medha Surabhir Vishvarupa Hiranyavarna Jagati Jagamya. Which means come. Mam, to me. Vishvarupa, all pervasiveness, the form which is all pervasive. Hiranyavarna, golden colored. Jagati, which means all pervading. Jagamya, sought upon by seekers, right? Looked upon by seekers. So overall meaning and commentary. May Medha Devi, who is all pervasive in nature, who is multi-dimensional in her expression, who is of golden hue, who is sought upon by everyone, come to me. So may this Medha Devi come to me. Next. Urjasvati payasa pinvamana samaham Medha supratika jushantam. Urjasvati, which means rich with elevating energy. Payasa, by milk. Pinvamana means nourish and energize. Sa, which means she. Mam, which means to me. Medha, we had already saw. Supratika, su, which means superb. Pratika, which means auspicious signs. Jushantam, to be pleased, to grace me. So overall meaning and commentary. May Medha Devi, who is vibrant and full of inspirational energy, enlighten me with milk. So milk in reference to grace, her grace, which is very enriching and pure and fluid like milk. It just flows instantly towards us when we call upon her. May her grace bestow me with all auspiciousness. Right? Here we are somehow reminded of, Tirunjana Sambandar, the revered Shaivite saint who as a toddler got enlightened when Meenakshi Devi fed him with milk. So in our culture, milk has in many ways been the means of passing enlightenment or supreme knowledge. The last stanza. Mayi medha mayi praja mayi yagnistejo dadhatu mayi medha mayi prajam mayi indra indriyan dadhatu mayi medham mayi prajam mayi suryo bhrajo dadhatu. Mayi, which means my. Medham, of Medha. Prajam, which means progeny. Agnihi, Lord Agni, who is the Lord of fire. Tejaha, which means luster. Dadhatu, means to provide and sustain that which has been provided. So to provide something, and not just that, to even sustain anything, something which has been already provided. Indra, in reference to Lord Indra. Indriyam, the five senses. Suryaha, in reference to Lord Surya, the sun god. Bhrajaha, which means enlightenment. So meaning and commentary. May my lineage and I be graced by Medha Devi in the form of Agni, who provides the glow, vibrance and luster to us. May my lineage and I be graced with Medha Devi in the form of Indra, who enables us to control the senses. May my lineage and I be graced by Medha Devi in the form of Lord Surya, who enlightens us. Here, progeny also means the DNA, because only by the genetic data can you transfer something to your progeny. So here, it refers to the assimilation or the oneness one attains with Medha Devi, such that it enters his entire being. It fills his whole being into every cell, into every DNA, into every single genetic code which makes him up. So the sukta ends here. Nevertheless, I've tried to shorten the commentary as much as I can, because there's never an end to any commentary on any part of the Vedas, right? So it is best that one realizes the very truths conveyed by the verses through recitation and meditation upon the various suktam. That is the best and perhaps the only way in which one can learn the Vedas. Now the individual meanings and commentaries can help, right? But ultimately it's the realization, right? The very realization of Medha Devi, which is conveyed in the suktam. So in a nutshell, anyhow, so overall this suktam speaks about all possible dimensions of intelligence in the cosmos, which we recognize as Medha Devi, who comes in various forms of beings and deities, and who helps to manifest all these qualities within us. So, thank you for watching.